Good morning, it's Friday the 22nd of June.
Also ahead, Ed Miliband, and we'll be talking to one of the survivors from the Norway attacks after 6:30 this morning.
The Labour leader Ed Miliband is to admit that his party got it wrong on immigration when it was in power. In a speech this morning, he'll say that too many workers were allowed into the UK after the European Union expanded to include countries from Eastern Europe.
Well, he'll also promise to introduce measures to stop British people being locked out of some jobs. Our political correspondent Chris Mason in Westminster for us.
A British woman has been found guilty of murdering her 2 children in a hotel room in Spain.
Leanne Smith had claimed she was psychiatrically disturbed, but a jury in Girona decided that she was criminally responsible for smothering her young son and daughter. Thousands of London's bus drivers are on strike today in a dispute about extra pay during the Olympic Games. 17 bus companies are affected. 3 others won a court injunction to prevent a walkout.
Talks between the companies and the Unite Union failed yesterday. Our industry correspondent John Moylan.
The funerals of 6 children who died in a house fire in Derby will take place later this morning. Their parents, who are in custody charged with their murders, will not be attending. Anthony Bartram is outside. Is the order of events today? Thank you very much.
Vulnerable households struggling to pay their water bills could be charged less by water companies. Ministers say
a government guide to help parents teach their children how to be confident about their bodies is being launched today.
Yes, the pack shows how digitally enhanced images of celebrities affects youngsters' self-esteem. It offers advice on how to talk to children about the subject.
Hundreds of festival goers have been trapped in their cars overnight after flooding caused chaos on the Isle of Wight. Heavy rain, and we'll be speaking to one woman who spent all night in her car in the next half hour.
One of the last letters written on board the doomed liner Titanic has been returned to Belfast 100 years ago after it was first sent.
Now, I promise we're not making this next bit up, but a rare hat-shaped cloud, yes, has been filmed near Mount Fuji after a strong typhoon swept through Japan.
Let's have a look.
Gorgeous, though.
30 minutes past 6, Mike's here now.
I'm not going to say anything.
What, Ronaldo or my cheesy transition?
Yeah.
I'll save the best for the later one.
A lot of papers enjoying that picture. That's also on the front page of the day. Time now is 19 minutes past 6.
A look at today's weather. Carol.
Good morning.
Thanks very much indeed.
Time now 6:22. Earlier this week on Breakfast. Mike, thanks very much. See you later on.
Thank you. Now, the deadly attacks in Norway last year claim...
The audience will understand how difficult it is.
It is 6:45. You're watching Breakfast from BBC News, the main story.
Let's go to Penny now. We're talking about credit rating agencies and their decisions. Moody's specifically. 52 is the time. He was the face of Britpop, the force behind the musical project Gorillaz, and now Blur singer Damon Albarn is staging an opera about an Elizabethan alchemist.
Something of a turnaround, perhaps. Originally an experimental work, he spent the last year refining it with the English National Opera. It's about Dr. Dee, an advisor to Elizabeth I who's dabbling in the occult, destroyed him. The opera opens on Monday, and Tim Moffat joined the star in rehearsal.
Damon
is in Oslo. Richard Galpin in Oslo, and we'll be talking to one of the survivors from the Norway attacks in just a few minutes' time.
MP, former Community Secretary John Denham about this.
What is the situation at the moment? Is it chaos? Thank you.
The funerals of 6 children who died in a house. Much.
Hundreds of festival goers have been trapped in their cars overnight after flooding caused chaos on the Isle of Wight.
Yes, heavy rain also meant...
Well, throughout the night, 5 Live spoke to some of those people trapped in their cars. For joining us this morning, Adrian, it's obviously everything is... You were shot but survived. Just tell us what happened to you.
An account of why he didn't shoot you at that moment.
He shoot you, didn't he?
He did. He continued.
Adrian, can we take you to... How are you? How are you coping with this? Let's see, the time now is 17 minutes past 8. Let's have a look at the weather with Carol. Fiona Trott is in Kendal for the start of today.
We love Christian.
Now then, time is 8:22. Early this week on Breakfast, doctors told. But here on Breakfast, we're talking quantum physics. And thank you very much for your time this morning.
Now, how many physicists does it take to solve the mysteries of the universe? In just a moment, we'll be talking to 2 professors who've had a go at answering that very question. And if anyone can, they can.
Professor Brian Cox and Professor Jeff Forshaw have written a book which aims to make quantum mechanics easy to understand. Here's a look at Brian in Hawaii explaining how heat keeps a planet alive. Brian and stuff. That is gripping. Come to a...
Head hurt. It just used to bounce off my head. I didn't understand it at all. It's like you say, you explain why, which makes it at least a little bit more relatable to.
So what we're trying to do here is explain the rules of a game, right? That's like kind of what scientists
we need to know.
And it's because it teaches us something really remarkable about...
There's a nice sort of...
where it is, how all that emerges from this one rule. It's a terrible position to be in, so it's very important people have some touchstone.
And you're both professors.
Everybody else sees it too.
Isn't science getting a little bit more rock and roll? I know, obviously, because of your background in a band, everybody will say that to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to go to Carol now, and I have to tell you that somebody's written in, Carol, to tell us that yesterday you not only did buy me a cup of tea next week.
In your bedrooms, but this weekend you're going to be playing it to a lot of people.
Yep.
Because you're playing at the